Call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Commissioner Mondasso is present, Commissioner Frost, Commissioner Bono, Commissioner Shippey, Commissioner Wilcox, Commissioner Soliano, and Commissioner Bill Francesco. Okay, before we get started, there's a little bit of technical difficulty, so this meeting will be recorded. It will be able, the public will be able to view it once it's posted. So we won't have any comments from the public at this point. Correspondence, before we get started on anything, I just want to make an announcement. I received an email from Karina Julius back in December because Commissioner Bonner had received a correspondence on her personal email regarding traffic issues, which she forwarded to the chief. And at that point, I hadn't given Kristen a copy of the bylaws explaining that when you get a correspondence, you have to circulate it to everybody. So right after that, I did send all the new updated bylaws to everybody, so we're all on the same page. Does anybody have any Jen correspondences or anything? No. Okay. All right, moving on. Discussion and possible action on the meeting minutes. We'll start with the regular meeting of December 15th. I entertain a motion to accept the minutes from December 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, special meeting of January 6th, 2026. I entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the special meeting of January 6th, 2026.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, moving on. Special meeting January 8th, 2026. I entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the special meeting of January 8th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, minutes are done.
Thank you, Jen, for the work.
Yes, thanks, Jen. Okay, moving on to executive reports. We'll turn over to the chief.
Okay, we got a lot to cover tonight, just because of cancellation of the last meeting, so I'm gonna try to keep it moving relatively quickly. For the operating budget. We spent a good amount of time, going through the current operating budget we're working with right now. Reason we did essentially an audit and an overview of what we spent so far is because we're at just over the halfway mark for the fiscal year. What we found is we're on track for pretty much almost all our accounts. There's some that we anticipated going under on. And I'll go over those when I go through the budget report. But nothing is really of great concern to me. The accounts that we are going into the negative on, we've kind of anticipated that, and there will be a surplus in other accounts to keep us on track, and we are still projecting a decent surplus at the end of the fiscal year. So I don't think we're in any danger of overspending or having any type of freezes or anything like that. We'll go into some of those accounts. It's referring to the operating accounts in the agenda packet. The salary account, we're tracking just as we should. We're still holding 2 vacancies. It's the captain vacancy and 1 officer vacancy, which we are tracking to fill both. And we should show a surplus in both those salary line items based on the money we're encumbering from not losing it right now. Vacation day, we're still good, but we do anticipate the coming months, spring, summer, more officers using their vacation allotments, as well as some of the cash out times, which will be coming out of this account, but we're still in good shape there. What I was talking about was the additional hours. We know that the account isn't funded where it should be to project a balance account. But we're okay with that. I do know they're gonna have a surplus in other lines of education will be one of them. Additional hours is if officers happen to stay over the investigation or they need to cover each other, they'll stay over an hour or two, or if they got to go to court or transport a prisoner, things like that. Just the unanticipated overage of hours is typically what we use that for. The other big one, the negative 70,000, we talk about that every month. It's the workers' compensation that's got moved to another account. Jen, that got moved to expenditures.
That's on the, yep, expenditures.
Yeah. So it's not a concern, even though it's showing negative. Really nothing else, unless any of the commissioners have anything that comes out to them that they wanted to talk about. Most of the accounts we talk about every month that are in the negative, like the legal services and professional tech. Those are expenses that we knew we encumbered in that, like Dago Law Firm, the public safety consultants for the recruitment myself and the captain right now. So we'll move on to the budget process. Obviously, we did a budget presentation, the police commission and to the board of finance. Nothing has changed. Our request was $197,888, which accounted for a 3.56% increase from our current budget. It was a modest ask, and I think everybody saw that. I appreciate the support and some of the guidance. Not only this finance and the first selectman as well, and our finance director, they were tremendous to work with. They really made the process easy on me. Obviously a little bit of a learning curve, but I appreciate it, and I think we came to a really good product, and I'm happy for this budget going forward and it gets passed. Bulk budget accounts. One of the accounts, police commission brought to my attention that it looked like we had some discrepancies in the balance. It was the DARE account. I sent an email out last week to try to account for that and explain that difference. You were correct. There was an inaccurate number. We did not. It was a 2024 expense that we paid for, but we just didn't keep up. When Jen did audit, she realized that there was an expense that wasn't reported. So what we did in this month's off budget account for the DARE is we just account for that and deducted that and showed the invoice and as well as the deductions in this account. So I think the DARE account is fine. It's where it should be right now. I do have a couple of requests to this commission and I want to bring to your attention. I gave you a couple of handouts. One says stalker radar on the top. So we'll be looking to use some of our off-budget account money from the driver safety fund to buy the stalkers. Are there 6 radar units for the fleet of patrol cars that we are purchasing for the coming year, the Tahoes. It's $21,468. It's necessary equipment. We have to replace it. And that's, I thought, was the best use of the driver safety funds to pay for this expense, as opposed to using operating or capital expenses. Jen is worth $35,000 in that account. Driver safety fund.
Joe's 56.
56,000 in that account. It's a big one. Yeah, I mean, it's been accumulating. So I think that it's, this type of expense is what that is involved in the reduction of speed and driver safety and our enforcement actions.
Renee, would it be appropriate to have a motion at this point?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. I don't remember in the past, the former chief always used to say to us, he had to get approval from Carl and Leanne. Do you guys remember?
It is the province of the police commission, I believe, to approve expenditures from the fund.
Okay.
These are relatively large ones, so I'm going to bring
Okay.
a large one.
Yeah, as long as I can do that in this, I just haven't gotten it.
Yeah, it's a special meeting. I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Well, I can put an agenda item next, but I wanted to make these more
Okay.
informational for you all. It is, I mean, if I buy it this month, next month, it's really not a big deal.
Okay.
But I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to see if there's anything that you want me to adjust or if this was even an acceptable use of that funds in your mind.
I think
I think it's more than acceptable.
Yeah.
makes all the sense in the world.
And we're gonna be meeting again in 3 weeks.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem doing that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to have the conversation, so if I need to pivot or adjust. The same thing with the bike. There's another, quote for purchase of 5 mountain bikes and some, equipment that goes along with them. So this spring, I'd like to get, 5 or 6 officers certified on police patrol bikes. Hamden agreed to host the class. Initially, we're gonna do it here, and Hamden decided to do it themselves, and just invite us to attend that class. So I'd hope to send 5 officers to that class in the spring, and this is the June. That being said, we only have 1 patrol bike, and it's older, and we can't get parked for it anymore. To do this program right, you're supposed to have at least two of every size. So bikes go in size, medium, large, and small and extra large. So I'm looking to buy 5s. We have a range of bikes that fit every officer's height and size. That expense is the total.
Don't go 9,000.
The feet and handlebars.
They do, but it's still, the frames are different based on the size. Like a medium, like I'm 5'6", I would drive a medium size bike. Anybody above 5'9" would be a large size bike. Yeah, I think it has to do with like rotors around and things like that. They do have the seat for 4 or 5 inches adjustment though.
But you still have the bar that goes between the seat
I
and
think
the
that's what it
handlebars.
is.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's $9,300. And again, I can put that in the agenda for the next.
And
police commissioner.
driver safety fund.
Driver safety fund as well.
Do you have a place to store them?
The garage. is
I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, we can clear it out a little bit right now. We got a classic car in there, but
All right.
there's plenty of space and we're gonna devote an area just for that. I think there's a good need for it in town. It'd be a nice resource to have, especially at, Halloween. I'm big at putting them out. Celebrate Saybrook, fireworks, really any of our events, the concerts in the green. They're also certified and you're gonna be looking at those events, say craft folks, or I'd rather put them out there on a bicycle. And, for those type of events, there's some discussion about patrols in the summer. I'm a little on the fence with that. I'm thinking more special events, special activities and special holidays. I don't know that we're gonna get a lot of bang for our buck to put an officer out on patrol for bike. If we do happen to have a couple extra officers on for a shift, say you have 4 coming in, we have all our districts filled. He's certified. I wouldn't mind putting him on a bike for a couple hours, but I wouldn't devote the funding to do an 8-hour shift for bike patrols. But I still see that there's a need for it. I'd like to have it in town.
For the accessory pieces,
Yep.
do you have helmets already? I noticed that
No, not
wasn't.
that I have found.
Okay.
So everywhere, Jen, we don't have helmets anywhere. I think the officers pretty much get issued helmets and they just keep them, to be honest. I don't know who was certified. Nobody in the department is certified right now.
Well, I was just noticing the accessory items and I didn't see helmets, so I was,
The uniform, they have.
oh, they have them for you?
So
Okay.
by the officers that would decide the bike shirt, the shorts, and then the helmets.
Okay,
So we got that outfit up, but that would be coming from the different account. I think we can do that at operating.
okay.
Did you consider e-bikes when you did this?
I do, and I hate them.
Okay.
We have 2 of them. It's a whole nother training class that officers would have to attend. And I just don't really see I don't know, I just don't see the big need for an e-bike. I'm not sending the officers, go miles and miles and miles, and everything is relatively flat here. I think it's an expense and maintenance that I don't really need to keep up on.
I envision it more, I mean, it's not my decision, but more like Main Street, the shopping center, maybe Route 1 a little bit. In summer too, with the traffic here, it would be a little dangerous to try to put them out, like riding the regular roads. I
Yeah,
think.
that one before.
Yes, yeah, it'd be crazy.
I agree. I mean, there's a need, but.
But I think exactly what you said, the special events would be perfect because they can stop. They can just stop and hop off the bike and talk to somebody.
Right. And even SROs, in time, I wouldn't mind getting each one of the SROs certified in bikes and they can ride them around the outside of the buildings and things
Yeah.
like that. And I think it would be a need there too. The other thing, I know there's a lot, I'm sorry, canine, we're buying a canine pickup truck, for Sky. And I'd like to outfit that vehicle with the canine fund. 15,000 in that fund right now, I believe. I think the equipment would be about 8 or 9,000 to fully outfit that vehicle. That'll offset some of the expenses from our operating and our capital, that we anticipate for these vehicles. And then, that's essentially what that money is for, the purchase of another canine or the equipment associated with them. That would be.
I think that's a good idea.
But again, I'll put that in, an agenda item for next agenda. And the last one I had, I gave you a big package, the one that I used the wrong stuff. It's honest. This I'd like to bring to our department, but not only our department, our community. It's, autism awareness training. And it is an expense to this, it's an outside vendor. Named Captain Jerry Turner, who's out in New Jersey. He doesn't, I've been to a few of his trainings, Hamden contracts him every year. It's one of the most, well put together, well thought out and beneficial trainings that I've ever really attended. And I want to bring it here. A lot of it, so there's the autism awareness, but it's also, he dives into letting the officers understand autism and some individuals on the spectrum and how they might present. A lot of times, we can avoid some use of force issues and, if our perception is right. If we can understand that somebody might be on the spectrum and not intoxicated or being aggressive or not listening to our commands, we can avoid a lot of issues. The truth liability piece. So I thought it was in Jerry, his son is autistic, and that's why he started doing this training. Retired, he does it now full time. He's national. He really exploded, but it's really really worthwhile training for. There's another component that he delivers as part of the training session is the missing person component to how we respond as law enforcement, fire, really any first responder. How would we respond to somebody, a missing person, especially a child that's autistic, would be completely different than how we respond to any other individual that's missing. We have to immediately recognize that, and we have to start searching bodies of water, train tracks, highways. There's a lot of things that they gravitate towards that are really dangerous, and we got to get there quickly. Our response typically would be a little different, where we would stuff this start going from the house out. Whereas this type of response, we have to look for high risk, high danger areas first. I don't know that our officers understand that yet, and really haven't had this training. It's about $3,000. It's about $3,000. So we need comments to be live in person training, and I would like to, and this isn't on the record yet, this is nothing that's been agreed to. I'd like to maybe ask Brett at the Cape if he would let us use the space for an afternoon and invite more than just the police officers, invite Board of Ed, the fire department. We could open it up to some other community members, town government, to attend this training.
Towns.
Yeah, we've done that too, other towns.
Is it only for a day?
It's sort of like it's a 4-hour training.
Oh, it's 4 hours. Okay.
Yeah. This is one of the things when I was coming here, this is that I wanted to bring with me, and that's why I'm presenting it now. You can look at his website, it's pretty impressive. I can get you some videos of past trainings if you want to look into it a little further. But I think we were looking at using the police admin account on that. There might be a bigger piece than 3,000. It might be some personnel expenses. It might be some facility. So they're kind of looking at that, but I will present all that to you. With an agenda item for this as well. That's all I have for all budget accounts, unless anybody needs.
The next agenda, we're gonna put the request for the stalker and the bikes to come out of the driver safety fund, and we have amounts for those. The truck for the K9, you're gonna take out a K9 fund, will we know what that's gonna be?
Yeah, I have a quote for that.
Okay. Perfect. And then the autism, how are we gonna have? I know you said 3,000, but.
Yeah, so if we just. Yeah, I'll try to put together, I know I have a number for the training.
Okay,
I'll talk to Brett, see if the Kate is an option.
Okay.
If not, maybe the high school will cover them, but. If you do a little bigger training than just our training.
okay,
Cause I'd like to make it a little bigger for everybody else. I'll get you a number for that.
okay.
I don't think anything more than
Then we vote on.
5,000.
Okay.
Just clarification on the autism training, does that include his travel or is that extra?
Yeah, in there, it says it's travel and, stay is included in that price. So, and he's coming out of New Jersey, so I don't think it'll be an overnight stay. If anybody has any other questions about any of our.
I just had an off-budget general question.
Yep.
We had talked about that whole Dare Fund piece.
Mhm.
And, basically you're saying Jen manages this as a checkbook account. That there's no technology at town hall that has her connect in. So essentially it's like we get a donation, she records it on her end. I don't know that that's like such an efficient way.
There used to be a connection with Leanne, because I've asked her for the off-budget account.
She has access to it, right, Jen?
Yeah, so each month Amy sends out a cash and equivalence sheet, but it just has the balances.
Balances.
So in order for me to go, I can go into e-finance, but there's no, like, you know how we print out like this stuff?
Yes,
There's no way for me to get all of the expenditures and the deposits
Deposits.
in one. And I've worked with the past like 3 finance people, and there's just no easy way. So we have our own accounting at the PD, and then I make a separate spreadsheet that we give to you guys. So it's like done 3 different times. So I wish there was an easier way. I wish there was something just from town hall that I could just print out and give to
Yeah,
you guys.
right.
That I would love that personally.
And we
okay,
keep all the invoices and we file. everything.
Yeah. If there's ever any questions, I mean, we have everything at the PD. The deposits, I keep track of it. I keep copies of the checks,
okay.
everything.
I mean, for us to just get the balance, I don't know that I'm comfortable just seeing that. I still want to see the basic
we do see-
information.
If there's activity, we see
No,
that.
right, but we wouldn't if she were just giving us the sums. So, okay,
If there were expenditures, what if we just gave you a copy of the check request or anything like that? Would that work or?
Jill, are you thinking about like reverting back to how we used to have it where we get?
this is the only system I know.
Okay, but at one point, we would get the system where Jen would give us the cover sheet, but it would have, or wait, I don't know if we got a cover sheet back
It
then.
was
It was,
just a list of.
Yeah, it
okay,
was
so we
just-
would get like back to like 2017, it would be every single line item of everything that was ever spent.
Some of that's in here, like.
And-
Yeah, it rolls off. I think I
But
brought that up.
Yeah.
then it came up and everybody
Yeah.
said, let's do it the other way, where the only time we're gonna get like this kind of page is when there's a change in it.
Right,
But I mean, we not necessarily have to print everything, but even if it just got emailed to us, we used to get this for every single off-budget account every single month. Like,
but
no
you
matter if
would
it
still be
changed or-
doing that.
Not
No.
necessarily that one. I would still keep track of the one we have at the PD. Like, this is a separate one that we started for the police commission. So
So wait,
I,
this is different than what you even have for accounting?
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, because the original one we have was before I even came there.
Okay,
So I just continue to add on to it, but I mean, they go back. I don't even know how long I have
Years.
to actually look.
I remember at least 2016 and 17.
Yeah, and it changed now because with town hall, we used to send over these, the photocopy sheets almost, so the carbon copy sheets. And you'd get the yellow one back when the deposit was made. Now you don't get anything back. So I keep a copy at the
Okay.
PD, but we don't get anything back saying like, check. I mean, I know they're doing it, but there's no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Things have just changed, so it's,
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Jill, I
we should
understand
just,
where you're coming from. I
think
always have
about-
questions on
yeah.
that.
we'll think it through, I think,
Yeah.
a little bit more.
On another note, I think it might be helpful and useful to have a threshold below which the chief doesn't have to come to us. For approval of an expenditure from an off-budget account. I would suggest maybe $500. Do you think that's practical, reasonable? 1,000? What makes sense?
I think that's kind of always happened, because do you remember the former chief coming to us when he wanted to buy stuff from TJ's?
No.
Okay.
What was the threshold in the past?
I don't know that there was
I
one.
I
was
don't
there?
think we did.
I don't
It was more like if we were gonna buy new weapons or ammunition or things like of a bigger nature,
So I,
like what you've already.
so I
you
didn't,
put these-
I didn't, so the police commission didn't control finances. There was no oversight of that component. But $5,000 was the amount that we would have to bring in front of the finance department for request for things like purchase orders, and we're actually three of those. So I mean, I was thinking anything larger, like 2,500 above, I would plan on bringing in front of you. But, yeah, I mean.
I think
I'm
that's
not-
reasonable.
I'm not opposed to showing you of what we don't really use these accounts that often either.
I'm not talking about showing, I'm talking about pretty clear.
Yeah,
Just on a
Just do it,
routine
budget.
basis.
right.
And then just saying, oh, and this month we did X, Y, and Z and it cost whatever the fee is. So we have like a knowledge of what you're doing, but you're like, to Chubb's point, you're not coming to us with $500 every single time you.
Right.
We've never had that. You know, I mean, I don't, Jen, you've been around too, and
Never. I mean, I was just thinking like the golf cart plates are usually over $7,000 that we have to pay for them. I mean, we make way more than that, but, so, I mean, we'd have to then come to the commission to get the approval to pay for the golf cart. plates.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Like-
there's stuff that we've done for years that we've never asked.
for me, like these things that we just went through, the stalker, the bike things and all that stuff, those to me are, that's equipment that we need. The autism program, you know, that's like equipment, and it does show to the town, like, this is what we want to take care of. We want to make sure that these things are covered. But like I said, I mean, we never went through every TJ slip, every, you know, even creative safety products, any of those things. We never really, I don't remember ever voting on that stuff.
No, but they would show up in the.
They show up, and then when you
accounts,
have a question,
So
you
we
have a
knew.
question, like George Lynn, when everyone kept asking, you Google him, he's a psychiatrist. We don't okay every time we use a psychiatrist.
But the chief did come to us when there were, significant expenditures, and they would vary.
Right, just like the stuff that we just listed.
Yeah,
And
Right.
all I'm suggesting is that it may be helpful if we had an agreed upon threshold.
I think that's reasonable.
Is. Okay, so we can add that to the next agenda to discuss an action on a.
Yeah.
On a monetary figure.
the problem is that there's things like Jen is saying, they're natural courses of business.
Right.
That should not come to us to purchase the,
Please.
plates.
A lot of the off-budget accounts have very specific things that you can
Purposes.
spend them on.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you like the driver safety fund is part of the Vegas.
And police and men,
Please add it, right?
I think that's a good
and they
idea.
were the two biggest funds.
So between now and the
Yeah.
next meeting, well, actually, I think it would be if, Jen, is there any way to email, like, you don't have to print them, but email the off-budget accounts, like back, I don't know, 5 years or something? The long pages, sorry, the detail pages.
So everything's still there, it's just minimized. So like, so you're not getting 17 pages, I mean, but like the police uniforms and awards goes whenever we started on, which was what, I mean.
2017.
Was on the commission.
Right, but those, they don't come in our package.
No, it's on
It's
my
2
system,
years.
So like I could just expand it and it'll all be there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so then maybe between now and the next meeting, if everybody takes a look at those, they can say, okay, well, this expense is this, and this, here's the bigger ones, that will be our threshold.
Yeah, I can email the file.
Okay,
It's got everything there.
okay. Thank you, Jen.
So moving on to personnel matters. Two officers, that are now on, light duty, restricted duty, due to maternity, so, yes. I don't know if I want to announce names, but, we will be referring some more, overtime expenses to the patrol vacancies there. And I have a request, I think you were following a personnel matter. I'd like to appoint, Father Greg as police chaplain for Old Saybrook Police Department. I think we've had one in the past, we don't currently have one, but I think, you know, there's a need. It's a support not only for the officers in the community, during some tragic events and some, a lot of times, death notifications and things like that. But it's also support for myself. He would be a resource to me, especially when I'm going to those type of things, making notifications or having to deal with difficult circumstances. I think he would be a great resource to have and somebody that I can collaborate with, at times. So I don't know the process to potentially appointing police chaplain. I have, talking to Father Greg about it. He's at St. John's Church. I don't know if anybody knows him.
He's great.
But I think he would be a good fit, and he's willing to do it. He's done it in the past for, I think it was Waterford.
I mean, this doesn't have any budgetary implications or anything, and it would be something that you would appoint. Does anybody have any issues or think we need to handle it differently than just letting the chief appoint them? And I don't think we're gonna interview pastors and priests, and
No. Do we vote on that?
that's what I'm just wondering if we.
Yeah,
need
I don't
to.
even
I
think
don't
that
think
we
we
need to do
I don't think we
that.
do. It's not
I-
affecting.
Yeah,
There's no budgetary. impact.
Right. Okay,
right,
so,
and this is for your own resource too, and the
Exactly.
resource of the department, so I think this is kind of almost falls into the operational category.
I will proceed with that.
Thank you for doing it as
No,
well.
thank you for supporting it. That's all I have for personnel matters. Professional development updates. So I did want to add some feedback. Last meeting, I gave my recommendations for a promotional process. Just want to know if there's any feedback or any opposition to that or any other questions for that.
I thought it was well thought through.
I liked it
I
a lot.
agree.
Yeah, I didn't have any.
Okay, I presented the union, they don't have any issue with it. I think it's something that we can move forward with. I don't think it's gonna be where I need an MOU, but the labor contract allows me to make that decision. I put in place a procedure that I think is best for the department. But I wanted to get some feedback from you. So I think we will proceed with that. That doesn't mean we're going to be pushing for promotions right now. Right now, I want to fill the captain position and I want to fill the entry-level officer position before we proceed with any other promotions. After that, I'll reassess and we'll see where our vacancy is at that point, and I'll bring that to you.
Did you? The global traffic code.
Yeah, actually, one of the things.
Sorry.
So in March, I will have two officers and myself attend the FBI Command College. It's a 3-day course. It's up at Mohegan, in the conference center there, event center. Chicoine, Millard, and myself will attend that. It's 8 hours day events. Really pretty beneficial program for leadership and advancement, especially for sergeant, lieutenants, and above. And then Sergeant Ciccone has started the FBI LEDA trilogy. He finished his first course. It's a 1-week course, and he's got 2 more to do. We're tracking for probably April for him to get his second FBI LEDA course completed. And Sergeant Ciccone was also going to be an assistant LTA to me. I'm going to get him a local traffic authority training, mainly safe streets training, so he can be an assistant and help me with some of our assessments of some of our projects and some of our reviews of applications and such for the town. I think that's all I have. Professional development, activity report. So I know I sent this to everybody. It was a press release that I put out in January. I don't know if we followed it. It was a really great case, and it actually got some national traction. I think the New York Times picked it up. It was a multi-state motor vehicle theft ring that Detective Sergeant Williams investigated. Who did a great job. It required unbelievable amount of hours to investigate. Countless search warrants to really track down these individuals. Right now, he's able to arrest one. He's tracking a second. A Tiffany Kite of Johnson, Pennsylvania, was arrested for 4 counts of larceny one, and 6 counts of conspiracy to commit larceny, first degree. Since we're spending not only Old Saybrook, but Glastonbury, Coventry, Ridgefield, and Fairfield. That's just Connecticut. So this was a national ring, and there was officers across the country that he was speaking to. They tracked the cars down that were stolen in Old Saybrook down to Texas, and they were rebidding them and reselling them. So it was millions of dollars worth of theft, not just Old Saybrook, but nationally. And we were able to, the police take one down, and I think the domino will start to fall now. And hopefully they kind of put an end to this. They were loaning thieves, car thieves, and then also tricking car dealers into swapping it thieves. Either they were going there with a similar key fob and misplace it during a test drive, or when they're looking at it, they swap it out and they come back later and get their car at night, or they were cloning it. Somehow they had a device where they're cloning the receiver of the car. But they're stealing, really high-end luxury trucks and cars throughout the nation, and he alone really, put an end to it. And he alerted all these other agencies nationally. It was really a great case. I'm really proud of him.
That's nice.
Yeah.
The only really thing, we've had a couple uptaking a little bit of animal cruelty cases lately. Might say uptaking too. But they stand out. Really no good reason for that to happen. That both of them are domestic related. And we've both of those are going to come to a conclusion. The arrest is made, or they will be made. The arrest warrants are coming for one of the individuals. And the other thing to note, we had a really short pursuit on February 19th in the evening hours. Glastonbury tracked the car via LoJack, or I'm sorry, not LoJack, sorry. To Old Saybrook, and they decided to notify us as the car was already in Old Saybrook. So officers, actually, I was nearby as well. Officers really, it's the first time I've got to experience like them in action, if you will, and they used a really great amount of restraint. Our Sergeant Morris stepped up and really led the officers well, and directed them appropriately with a direct response to try to locate this vehicle that we're tracking, and was also supposed to be armed. Locate the vehicle and try to initiate a motor vehicle stop. And then enough awareness and self-restraint to stop the motor vehicle pursuit before it got dangerous, or really led to any type of motor vehicle accident or anything that tragic that could have happened. It was definitely the right call. It's a tough call to make sometimes, especially when you hear, there's a stolen car right in front of you and it's trying to elude you, and you can clearly keep up with it. And they're armed, and it ups the ante, and it's the call that every officer wants to go to, and every officer wants to get in that pursuit and try to get the bad guy, and to stop and to think and to use your restraint is against every emotion and everything you want to do. And they did that. And I was, me and my wife were actually at a restaurant on Route 1 when this is all happening. And looking at as a resident and a community member at that point, you see why that's so important that our officers have such restraint. Because we're on the side of the road, and now this car's coming by me potentially at 80 miles an hour if we were going to pursue it in that type of a reckless manner. But we didn't. So me and my wife were in the car, and the car, we are also disengaged, and the car drives by us at a normal speed. It didn't endanger anybody. So it's a non-climactic story, but but I was actually proud of the officers for how they handled themselves. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
I mean, good training.
Yes, they did, and it's the first time that I've been able to see that training, you know, their judgment and their sense. And I was proud of them.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, I'm not gonna really dive into the activity. There's really no great outliers unless anybody saw anything that was concerning to them. You know, we're tracking where we should. Nothing is really trending high or really outside of the norm. And so I think you guys all saw, I got a lot of good response from the golf cart, license plate contest.
Yeah, yeah.
All the credit in the world goes to Jen for that one. Jen,
Yay, thanks, Jen.
So Jen came to me with this golf cart license plate design idea that I didn't know we even had to do. Like, how do you want to design it? You know, fast cheap design, either have somebody design it. I don't know, I'm not very artsy, and I don't know how to design anything. So she's like, well, why don't we reach out to Goodwin and see if the kids would draw us a little contest. So that's what we did. We drafted a letter, sent it out to Goodwin with a paper license plate that they can all draw on. You know, their principal, Matt, is really pretty great about it. We put it out to all their art teachers, and all the kids are gonna submit their drawings to this commission. And you guys can select one candidate, two candidates, three candidates, whatever you want, say the best design that you choose. And those kids can have the bragging rights of having their art on the back of the golf cart also.
If anybody hasn't seen it, there was a wonderful display of art from the old Saybrook Middle School at the halls down at the Middlesex Hospital in Westbrook.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, wow.
Very good.
Jen, what we set a deadline for April? first?
April 1st, I think we did.
So we'll
Vote
get-
on one.
Yeah.
we'll get to April. We got to print those in May.
Yeah, usually.
However you guys want. Just let us know.
That'll be fun to do. And I think this is just a nice arm of community engagement in a very creative, different way. So I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, especially the littler kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
It's
was-
really nice.
I think they'll enjoy it. And then, you know, we'll do a little something with after school, we'll do select.
Yeah, a little event. That would be nice.
Fleet update. So the new vehicles that we ordered three, the town had some funds set aside in this budget year. For us to order three vehicles, one being that K9 pickup truck. It made sense to do that because we actually got a better price by ordering the current model years. We're waiting to try to discuss financing for the remaining six cars. We asked for 9 total. The 6 will be the patrol fleet, that's gonna replace some of the Explorers, their aging Explorers. We have it all, me and Jen and Bill, that means we're gonna work on outfitting, getting the quotes and the fleet assessment done in the last few months. And I think we're waiting for the financing piece to determine what we want to do, how the town wants to spend that money through capital. Whether it's a lease program or just finance outright or pay from outright or borrow themselves. So we're kind of waiting to hear from a few different options of banks. And we should have a decision on that for Senate comes soon for those cars. And I do want to clarify one thing, and it might very well maybe my fault, and I should have communicated this with this commission. Car number 1, and I know I talked about it in our Board of Finance budget presentation. Car number 1, which was a retired Chief Spiro's car, was turned over to the fire marshal. That car was devoted to the emergency management, and it was out there that way. And Chief Spiro retired, they changed all the lights over to red. And then when he gave up that role, I took over emergency management, he turned that car and it came back to the police department. So my original ask for the fleet was 8 cars. When I sat down with First Lieutenant Fortuna and the new fire marshal come in and who's gonna be assigned the deputy director of, OEM. It made sense to let him use that car. His car was not gonna last much longer. So we turned that over to him, let him use it. It was already outfitted for his purpose and had the right color lights. And first, like, it allowed me to order 9 cars instead of 8. So the police car didn't lose a car. We got a newer car and we just turned over that car to the fire marshal for his use and for the OEM use. For the finance meeting, but my apologies for not being, for coming on that. Nothing was intentionally done. It was just, kind of happened process. So,
I think you shared that with us already, because I had asked about the car
Okay,
and you provided that explanation.
all right.
Yeah, so, no, so thank you for reiterating it, but yeah, so thank you.
And then, the diaper drive was a very success, that whole training room was pretty much full of diapers. They showed up, with an SUV to retrieve the diapers and, we had to turn them away because we couldn't even quote, we could have fit maybe an eighth of what we had, not even. So we took the air control van, loaded up 3 times and dropped them all off for them.
Oh, that's great.
So what we got for them are, exceeded their expectations for us.
Is that just old Saybrook collections or okay, so it wasn't like what Clinton ever.
No, they wrote all the other
wow.
agencies anyway, we did quite a bit. It was nice.
Well done.
Yeah.
Diapers, that's when we see them every year. I can't believe.
I don't have diapers anymore.
They are expensive.
Moving on to the discussion on the, one other thing I wanted to talk about I gave you a handout when we were talking about the activity. You just referred, and we brought this up in a couple of meetings. These people did, call clearance, forms. This is just an example. This one is a proposal for what we're gonna go to for our call clearances. These are call types. We're trying to kind of consolidate them. To look at the other one, if you just look at larceny, how many larceny categories we have. It makes it very hard for our officers and our dispatchers to pick the right category. And it was somewhat unnecessary. We don't need that many categories. I'm not gonna ever be looking for stats to that degree and that specific. But we think this is what we're working towards, is trying to go to a more consolidated call coding. So larceny is just larceny as opposed to larceny with 50 subcategories. I can always dissect the data, and if we need to know what type of larceny it was or what location, I could look into the 25, 50 instances and get that data for us. But I don't think we need it to the degree that it was, and I think it was streamlined for our officers to get that work at least with. I just wanted to show you that in person for what we're working towards. I know it came up and when we were talking about some of these categories.
Well managed, less is more.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Leon wanted to discuss the e-bike stuff a little bit. I did a little bit of research into this. Obviously we have our golf carts are part of it. So golf carts are already allowed, so we permit them and license them. They're permitted on roadways, limited to low speed and local roads. Require motor vehicle operators license, insurance, town registry, and license. Mandatory safety equipment is lighting reflectors, and we could put some restriction. I don't have just seasonal months that would allow that. So I mean, I don't know if that. Especially the golf carts around there, or just whether the golf carts themselves or the people, how they drive them and who drives them. More than
Where they drive.
yeah, and where, right? And so I personally haven't seen that yet. So,
Late.
Yeah.
You're gonna be amazed how many kids are driving these gold cars. I
Yeah.
mean, go-karts, the golf course.
So I mean, I don't wanna make an uninformed decision just yet. I kinda wanna experience it before I start like, all right, we need to do this, we need to do that, cause I don't really know what I'm doing, to be honest. So I'm gonna deal with that in time. But I will, know what's allowed, what we wanna do and where they're allowed. The e-bikes, that's a whole nother issue. I don't see a huge issue right now in town with it. I never see it around town. But I think state legislation has kind of caught up on us on that. And just in October, state legislators put into effect 3 different categories of e-bikes and, what type of bike needs what licensing or age or restrictions. And I think it was really well done by the state. So I don't think we really need to move forward too much on e-bikes right now, because I think if I were gonna guide our officers to enforce an e-bike a violation, I probably wouldn't rely on ordinance. I would tell them to use the state statute.
That makes sense.
And there's a lot more teeth and, fines associated with that.
And I believe there was a presentation at the middle school about
Is that
e-bikes,
Safety one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of more I would go with it.
more education.
Exactly, like, to be honest, we're educating parents more than kids. A lot of times, these are dangerous, and they're like driving a motorcycle on the street, and parents just don't see it that way. So I think that's where we're gonna go with that. And, if e-bikes become an issue in the summer, we have the enforcement power now, so we can do something with it. The golf carts are kind of the anomaly for me right now. I gotta kind of see that and kind of feel it out.
That's a great
See what we
answer.
wanna do.
That's fair. I really
Yeah.
is.
So. And then I presented everybody with my executive goals.
Yeah.
This is from you to us?
Yeah, this is,
Okay.
yeah, I wanted you to see it. And this is, I wanted it, so. One is attainable, but 2 trackable and measurable. So we kind of know, what I'm trying to do with it. A lot of it I've already started to do, and you'll see a lot of fiscal responsibilities, budget preparation, things like that. But goal 1, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but is professional development and employee retention. My objective is to develop capable, confident, and motivated officers who take pride in their work, and remain committed to the department and community. My action plan for that is, which I've already started, conduct one-on-one career development meetings with 100% of our both sworn and civilian personnel. Want to document each employee's career interests, training goals, specialized skill, interest, and create individual development plans for our operating. I want to assure each sworn officer completes a minimum of 12 hours of professional development beyond what the state is requiring. And that's where things like Blue Ridge training, and I can kind of focus those things, whether it's a focus that I think they need or it's focus that they have an interest in. I want to identify at least 2 department members a year for advanced leadership and supervisory training. And that's for our development of our really our succession training. And then in the final, we'll conduct an internal employee satisfaction wellness survey by the 3rd quarter of this year, and implement at least 2 improvements based on the officer's feedback. And then there's some measures for success associated with each of these goals.
So survey completion day. I didn't see the survey in the prior bullet. So where would that fit in?
The wellness survey.
Oh, almost. My bad.
And I put 80% because it's non-contractual.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think that they would not have to comply. But I think everybody will. My second goal is operational excellence and organizational review. And again, I've started a lot of this. So I want to ensure the department operates in accordance with best practices, maintains professional standards, and utilizes an efficient system for accountability and documentation. A lot of this, has to do with our personnel files, our internal affairs files, our accreditation. So My action plan for that is conduct structured review of all department policies by 31st December 2026, prioritizing high liability and high visibility policies, like our pursuit policy, which is the state model policy. Update and revise any policies that do not align with current best practices and legal standards. Audit 100% of our personnel files and internal files for completeness and compliance. Develop standardized file procedures and evaluate digital management improvements. There's a software out there I'm looking at, it's called IA Pro. It'll help us track our internal affairs files, investigations, and it also has an early intervention component. It tracks 6-time abuse and citizen complaints, along with other things, and it starts giving you alerts if officers. It shows a pattern of abuse with that issue. On develop and present a finalized transform promotional procedure, applying the town charter, the labor contract, conservation requirements, charter done. Sorry, can I take? I want to conduct department-wide equipment inventory needs assessment to identify at least 3 priority items for future budgets, while also evaluating existing equipment for excess redundancy and underutilization. So there's, there's some things that maybe we don't use anymore, maybe that are not the best equipment anymore, or just I don't think it's appropriate. Then we will start, cutting back on. My third goal is fiscal responsibility and strategic budget management. I'll present and manage a fiscal responsible budget that sustains operational effectiveness while supporting professional development and long-term operational stability. My action plan for that, develop a detailed operating budget that accounts for all anticipated operational expenses, contractual obligations, and liabilities. I'll provide a budget status update to the town leadership of the police commission regularly, mostly. Maintain a 5% of projected allocation on less impacted by unforeseen emergencies. I want to allocate dedicated funding for professional development and leadership training. Now identify and pursue at least 2 grant opportunities to offset operational equipment costs. And one of those will be our bulletproof vest reimbursement for which we haven't done. Of course, we should. It's free money. I don't know why we're not doing it. And develop for your
What
capital.
entity do you? What entity is that for?
The bulletproof vest?
Yes,
That's the
state?
no, that's through the federal Alpha grants.
Oh, okay,
So the cops, community oriented police programs.
okay. Thank you.
And we're developing 3-year capital improvement outlook for major equipment and technology. A big part of that is going to be our communications infrastructure. I have to do a full assessment of our dispatch center, our radios, our towers. They're starting to age, and I'll be honest, I'm not the most technical person, so I've already contacted 2 vendors to come in and kind of give me an oversight of what we're dealing with, potential costs in the future. Christmas Eve, our radios went down. Thank God we had a couple vendors that were willing to come in. They got us back online. The tower had some issue, so they go fix that, and then Christmas Eve. They got us back and running, but it was a concern.
Oh, most definitely.
Are the police and fire communications compatible?
They're on different frequencies, different bands, but they are on the same network. Yeah.
I have a question. Your IA Pro software and then also allocate dedicated funding for professional development and leadership training. Will those be able to be accomplished within this coming budget for 27?
Yeah, like that I'm already doing. So like that command college, the LEDA schools that we're sending Sergeant Ciccone to. That's the kind of leadership and professional development.
Okay.
we're talking about.
What about the IA Pro?
I probably, I haven't, that could come from our pure funds. We have $10,000 in capital every year. It's $2,000. It's a software. It's really, me and the captain are probably the only 2 that would use the software. It doesn't have to be an internal and safeguarding process. So it's not a really expensive software. So
Okay.
I'm not too concerned about the expense for that.
So the dispatch, what you're saying is that would probably come in a future budget.
Yeah, that would be like 3 or 5 year capital plan.
Okay,
And Carl knows that. I've actually talked to him about it a little bit already. He knows that it's going to be a future expense with the communications side.
okay. I just wanted to make sure that the funding would be there so that you can accomplish these goals.
Yeah, no, I think it will, that's part of it, so I mean, these poles aren't easy to get, like, they have. One of these vendors come in and assess, so it's towers, there's 3 different towers, well, there's 2 towers, and then rent space on a third. All the dispatch households, all the cruisers, all the portable radios, and it's a big undertaking, even just look at it and tell us what equipment we have and what needs to be replaced in the age of it. So it takes a little bit of time even for the vendors to come and kind of give us an idea where we're at. So, my fourth goal and final goal, community engagement in relation to this. So I want to strengthen trust, transparency, and collaboration between the police department and our community. The action plan for that is increased community engagement events compared to 2025, emphasis on relationship building. Not just attending an event and being seen at an event. I don't need an officer leaning on a car and not talking to anybody. I want events where there's actually positive interaction and engagement. Walking around on Halloween, it's a good one. Like attending, the school parade at Goodwin and, high five all the kids and they're going by and then talking to their parents. That is that type of stuff. That type of engagement that I want. I used to criticize Hampton. We spend a ton of money and just send officers out everywhere. It's also standing at farmers markets and every community event you could think of that was going on in town. We had an officer there. But they weren't engaging with anybody. They were just sitting there collecting overtime. And, when I took over the community engagement, the community liaison there, that's where I stopped. I started putting the right officers in the right place to engage with the community. And that's what I want here. I want to ensure command staff attendance at key town meetings, civic events, and school functions. I want to expand our youth engagement initiatives in coordination with the Board of Ed and Youth and Family Services. Conduct at least 2 joint meetings with the fire department and other partners. So I think, and that's kind of like where the Citizen Police Academy is, just community forums, get the community in and talk to them. Doesn't necessarily have to be a crime meeting, it could be maybe a fraud awareness meeting, but we can collaborate with a lot of different resources. Consumer protections has offered to come in, kind of talk to our elderly population about some of these frauds and some of these scams out there. That we can just collaborate and I can really, honestly, I can go there, talk to the public for 10-15 minutes and then turn it over to them and they can give their speech and that type of stuff where it's worthwhile for the community and I think people will attend. Enhance public communication through regular updates on department issues and accomplishments. And a lot of that is being done right now. And social media has been really pretty great. Officer Solano does our social media and she keeps it light and she's really been doing a good job with it. Keeps it kind of refreshing, not cynical, but some of it is a little comedic and it draws attention at times, so it's good. I host at least 1 community forum or public information session in 2026. That's what I'm tracking for my goals. 2026. I think they're all attainable. I think they're measurable. I think come next year, that's it. So I really want to go out with it.
I think in part, we've witnessed you in a short period of time as a commission at whole, been president in the turkey drive, the toy drive, the torchlight parade. Then we go into New Year's Eve, making sure there was enough, cars out on the road and school events, back to school. Or no, you weren't here for back to school. No, you weren't there for, but you were here for Halloween. And also like the diaper drive and the storm management. So we've had a chance to really get a good grip of what you're doing too, because in a short period of time, a lot has happened. So thank you for your hard work.
I enjoy it. I really enjoy working here. I enjoy coming to work every day. It's refreshing. It's kind of re-energized me a little bit too.
Good.
Change is good.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say thank you for this. I love the layout of it. And I love how you've broken it down to an action plan, how you're going to measure success. Quite honestly, I know we had talked about maybe revisiting the goals like mid-year, just to see where you are with them. But quite frankly, these are items that you basically give to us in conversation every month anyway. So I absolutely applaud this. It's great work.
Above and beyond.
Thank you.
So moving on to the next item, and with everything that was just said, I don't know, I know we had that tool or whatever, but seeing the way these goals are laid out, it makes it a lot easier. I don't know, do we think we need a very formalized paper? check
I
the
do not,
boxes?
and I have
Okay,
never actually, when we formulated that document, it was for a whole different
I know.
plan. So I think personally, we can take these goals, especially with measurements for success, and just decide if he has eventually in an evaluation met or exceeded those goals.
I agree.
And that should simply be the way it is. Personally, I don't know how you feel about it, like if you had other ideas for how to do this.
No, I think that's good. I mean, I think it might be redundant otherwise too. So no, I'd be happy with that. You know, and feedback. So like,
Sure.
you know, every month, you know, feedback is good, you know, and I can give you, you know, where we're headed and what we're doing and, you know,
Problems like that.
exactly, and you can redirect me too, so I'm easy to work with.
Does anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Thank you.
Moving on, discussion and possible action on the police commission joining the Police Commission Association of Connecticut. Jill, I know at one point you had mentioned, you know, with the clerk report saying stuff and just us getting more training. So I don't know, Jen and the chief, I think, Jen sent it to me. I don't know if the chief is the one who located that information. So all I did was just forward that to you. I tried to look at it, I just did it on spreadsheet also. Chief, is there anything to add to that information? I know you said you were thinking maybe some other kind of things.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to find some training
Or not,
opportunities.
I just training, I'm sorry, I don't know if that was the right word.
Yeah, it's been riders, so it's, and I've been looking at it, Post doesn't have any training for police commissioners. But I think the Citizen Police Academy is a good start. You know, I can get the, curriculum from Hamden and let everybody see it and see if it's something we want to track towards. There is an expense associated with that. I don't say it's costly, but there's some labor hours involved. But it's not, it wouldn't just be for the police commission, but I think it would be a good resource for the police commission. I was thinking about, you know, it's best to do things in person and, you know, get feedback, questions, but also to put it up online. If we're gonna have like a officers teaching class, a lot of it is, there's use of force training, you know, for explaining like the shoot, don't shoot, why these incidents happen. Kind of get a perspective of an officer there. That's really great for the community, just in general. And then there's, you know, this community engagement piece is one day for engagement, one day for investigations, is one day for internal affairs. You know, what our oversight looks like. So I think I can get to the curriculum from Hamden. And we can look at it as a group, see if this is something we want to do. We can go forward with that, but I'll keep looking for other training opportunities for the commission as well as on 10. I looked into the Police Commission Association of Connecticut. You know, it primarily, you know, it's a support network for police commissioners.
I could talk about it. I'm a member.
Oh, you're a member.
I'm a
Yes,
member.
I was gonna ask Carl, thank you.
So basically, the Police Commissioners Association of Connecticut puts together an awards dinner every year. They used to award like students that graduated top of their class from the police academy, but that's been taken over by another association. I've nominated our Detective Williams for a meritorious award for this year's dinner because of his work on the automotive theft ring. I went with Charlie to the dinner because he graduated top of his class from the academy. That was last year's dinner. Anyway, it's an organization. You don't join it as a group, you join it as an individual. So it'd be each one would join as an individual. They have associate members, but they're for vendors and things for.
Do you get any networking out of it?
I get a little bit of networking out of it, but honestly, they raise money for scholarships and stuff.
So they're
It's
mostly fundraising?
pretty much.
And it looked like almost, I don't wanna say lobbying, but they.
They
you
do
know,
lobbying
you know, they go to the state
for
senate.
issues
Yeah.
that they're very pro police.
Right,
Police.
that's what I found on the website.
I think one of their lobbyists is, you know.
He lives right here. He lives at the end of Sheffield Street.
He's a.
Him and his mom, they're at that,
Brilliant. Like, he's.
the Hugheses,
Yeah,
Sean Hughes and,
yeah, I met him at one of these events, and I met him at the Torchlight Parade again.
yeah, they're really nice people. They lobby for, you know, for rights of police officers and stuff. If they see maybe some of their,
Well, I think the e-bike, legislation has a lot to do with.
they did a lot of lobbying on that. So the dues do go, you know, for lobbying fees and giving awards out, but it's not. I joined it because I was trying to see what I could get out of it, but I'm not getting any training out of it or anything like that, so.
Do you attend, is it monthly meetings or?
Yeah, the last few times it's been in Orange, the Orange Police Department. It's usually either New Haven or Fairfield County. They have a meeting once a month. They do have a Zoom link, but the Zoom link is tentative at best. It's in and out. And I've gone through meetings where I couldn't hear the meeting, like 10 minutes into it, I lost the sound and
Mhm.
couldn't get back. But it's a great group of people and their heart's in the right place and they do good work. But if you want to learn how to be a better police commissioner, that's probably not it.
Not
It's
the
a
place to
training.
go. What is your membership?
It's 100.
125.
It was on that people that I looked forward.
Yeah, I thought what it might have been.
These are the
125.
minutes from the last meeting. Yeah, it's 125 for any active or former police commissioner. They do ask for a recommendation. They just don't take, you know, they ask for basically a sponsor and have somebody sponsor you to join, but that's not in stone.
I'd be happy to do that for anybody.
But yeah.
So,
And they have associate members, but associate members, like I say, are mostly vendors. Whether you sell, you know, bulletproof vests or canine harnesses or anyway, and then they have an out of state member fee for $75.
So it pretty much is everybody's individual choice if that's something they want to do. But at the same time, if the chief looks into like the Citizens Police Academy, that might be a little more of
More,
what you're thinking,
right,
Joe.
right,
Okay,
more aligned with training.
because even
Um,
CCM, if you look in there, there's not.
There isn't
No,
much
there
there
isn't.
either.
I
Yeah.
have the book from the awards banquet, which I'm more than happy to pass around the table
I saw it
to
already.
look through
Thank
it.
you. I think for me personally, I like the fact that Carl is a member and if he wants to give us a report at our next meeting,
And I'm more than happy to do that.
I think that would be, I would
Yeah,
be
just
happy. with that.
what's going on in the state.
Yeah. And if there is a dinner, are only members invited to
No,
the dinner?
the whole town, you could bring anybody to the
Oh,
dinner.
so maybe at a
A
dinner,
fee per head, but
yeah, that's
Oh, well, that
understandable.
might actually be,
But that would be nice.
Yeah.
It'd been nice if we all could have went for Henry.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I say.
You're right.
We could have. A lot of, Waterford had a big showing this year because one of their officers was recognized.
oh, so the dinner already happened?
This year, well, not this year, but the last year.
Recent, the last, yeah, okay. So the upcoming 26th.
Correct.
Yeah,
Would be
do they
Christmas.
announce, ahead of time who's receiving the awards?
They do, and they give you a chance for your department to put together a couple of tables of people.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's great, you can let us
So
know all of
Waterford
that.
had like 21 people.
so when you're saying you nominated, Williams,
They did.
so that would be upcoming in December?
When is on the front?
The awards, September 30th, so Wednesday.
So that's the
tentative
awards
date right
dinner.
now. It's the
Okay.
tentative
That
date.
So he has to get approved by the name you submitted.
Yeah, well, they'll
Yes.
vote on it. The executive board will vote on it, and I'm sure he's a shoo-in because they were all talking about it.
Yeah.
It's a real big deal. You know what I mean? It's not,
big case.
yeah.
So Carl, if you're willing to do that, like kind of just report to us.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't wanna steer, they would love me to have everybody join, you know what I mean? But I don't know if everybody needs
No, but I
to,
think
that's
it's good hearing
all.
from you, you know what I mean? Then we know more of what we're
Yeah.
looking.
As long as you guys all take out ads in the ad book, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Of course.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else?
They're the big sponsor.
The only other thing is for the
Fairfield.
$125, if he's going to represent us, then
I'm
the
not
town
asking
should
for
be paid.
reimbursement.
I mean, that's the way I would look at it.
I don't have a problem.
I don't have a problem.
I,
Well, chief, that could be falling under to what Chubb was saying, discretionary funds of making decisions like that.
I think we're off the track, because what we were trying to be focused on was educating the commissioners to be more effective police
Right.
commissioners.
right, and I totally agree with that.
This is not going in that direction. This is a worthy cause, maybe, for those interested.
The only thing that reimbursement does to me is mess up my taxes. So I don't even, I'm on a state board and they have to send me my $23.69 gas thing to go to Hartford once a month. And I'm like, and at the end of the year, I've got to claim that. And it's like, this is stupid. It's just, anyway. I cash the check and I put it in the
Okay,
gas
well, if
tank
it's-
or whatever.
Okay, okay, comments from public, we're not gonna have any because we don't have a live audience. Comments from.
No, I just,
I know you're sick of
sorry, it
talking.
was a long meeting. I condensed a bunch. But everything that we talked about for actionable items, I'll bring on to these.
Commissioners, Paul, do you wanna start?
Yeah, I think that at each board should probably have a member be a member of the Connecticut
Yeah, I agree.
Police Commissioners Association. In other words, it doesn't necessarily have to be me all the time, but I'm just saying that I think each board should have at least one representative there. It does help with networking. It does help with hiring and recommendations and stuff. It's a networking group.
Jackie.
I have a few things. So one of the things, I went back in my notes, and I noticed early on, I had suggested a communications committee, and at that point, we were in the early stages of our budget planning. And we tabled that, and it also came up, I think simultaneously with the chief's goals as well. I was wondering if we could revisit that.
Yes.
And kind of vote on that and get that off the ground. The other thing is the town of Old Saybrook did a website relaunch recently. I don't know if anybody had a chance to go on police services. The page is great. Some of the highlights I was a little bit confused about. One of them, it says, contact the police commission, click here. And then you click on search or you sign in or create an account. So I'm not really sure how that is purposeful to us.
Should be directly to your email,
But
police commission email.
the other thing is, under, like it said, I would like to contact, and then it lists, so the caption is, I would like to contact, and then it lists all of our names. And you click on it, but I believe like that should probably go to the chair. I haven't done a test run on if you actually click on my name, what happens. I just know that it is there. The meeting schedule caption says, please call ahead to confirm. There's no phone number for them to call. I don't know who they're gonna call. Obviously, your initial train of thought would be to call the police department, but if they're at the town hall, do you call the town hall? So I think that just needs to be clarified. Contact, it says, just says contact, it lists our chair, Renee Roots Chippy. I think it would be nice if it said contact, commission chair, so people know instantly on the top reader, what that subtitle is. The other thing is on the left-hand side, there's like community events. So there's a drop down. So on the left-hand side, there's tabs that you can click on. Some have drop down, some don't. I would really like to see more updated information on that. Like the Thanksgiving, the toy drive, torchlight parade. A lot of things sometimes go back to 2022, which is great. But I think that if we had like an archive of 2022, but keep it more relevant to where we are now. And our chief swearing in, you click on that and the response is, we're sorry, no pages available. I wasn't happy about that.
So I think we need to talk to Larry about some of
Okay.
that stuff. I'm having a hard time with the new website, not even just the police department page. It doesn't seem as easy to navigate. I'm sure in 6 months it will be, but it definitely is a learning curve.
Yeah,
Jen, with any of the information, does Larry reach out to you for anything?
So I know Dan Adams had reached out because some, the roster was all messed up and stuff like that. So like 3-4 months ago, Larry had asked
Thank you.
us to send stuff over that needed to go from the old web page to the new web page. So we did, but
Okay.
I don't think all of it was captured. So
Okay.
that's why some of the stuff you're seeing, there's no links to it. And I do have to say, probably some of the newer events, I don't know if anybody's there taking pictures. So if we don't have pictures of, you know, the torch parade from anybody taking them, we're not gonna have them to upload. So we would have to have somebody be there to even just take pictures of the police officers at their stations or whatever, but.
Or
I
even
do
if
know
it's
stuff did
not-
transfer over.
like specific to a police officer per se, but torchlight parade, and then you show like it says events. And I know that, okay, it's a community website and it's tailored, but on our page, I think that having something more relevant, specific to the police officers would be the turkey, the toy drive, the diaper drive.
So I
There are images of those.
like 2 weeks ago, Dan and I did attend a class about the new website, so it is very new and
Okay.
I still think, I agree with Renee, I think the old one was a lot easier to use, this one is not easy to use.
Okay,
And I do know Dan and I have started going through it and trying to find stuff that looks wrong or there's just no link or whatever, so if there's anything you see that you're really specific on, just shoot us an email and we'll get with Larry, but there's not a lot, there are things we can't do on it. So it
okay.
is more of a town hall function than us.
Yes, I know I pointed out something to Larry and he took care of it right away.
Okay.
It was, Chubb's name was missing on our lineup of commissioners. And it was like fixed.
Chuck, you go back to when on the website, I don't really remember the specifics of how it was designed, but on the website, how was it that if somebody wanted to, what was the caption if somebody wanted to send an email? Like whether it was a complaint, a concern, a compliment,
It didn't make a difference. in
Right.
Communication.
And you could click all, like you wanted the whole police commission or individual commissioners.
oh, it allowed you to do either of the two?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Just so you know too, you can access the old website still. There is a link on the new website. So you can go back and kind of reference if you need to.
Okay.
oh, so maybe I'll just ask Larry on how to like highlight these certain things. And the other thing, on the golf cart tab, Chief Sparrow's name is still on our letterhead.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a work in progress.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, these are things that have come up before. And, since we're launching a new website, it would be nice to be current. Especially having our swearing in ceremony, that's important. That's all I have.
So do you think Jackie should go through you, Jen, or go to Larry directly with some stuff?
I
I
can
don't
work
want to
with you.
overstep. I just
You
don't
could
know.
do whatever, you can email me and a lot of it I'm gonna just send to Larry. 'Cause
Okay.
There's not much. I really.
Well, I can-
I'm struggling with the minutes and the agendas
All
right
right.
now.
I'll just deal with,
With the agendas, I was having a hard time because it says, and then I couldn't find the packet and it must have just been me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, it's weird because I went to do this meeting and it wasn't showing up on the right-hand corner. It still says like the March 23rd, whatever the fourth Monday of March
Right.
is. That is our next meeting. But then if you actually go where it says like all agendas and minutes, it popped up there.
Right,
So,
okay.
yeah.
I'll reach out to Larry and then, I could CC you and the
That's-
chief.
Yeah, if there's anything Dan and I can do as a
Okay.
department, we can do it ourselves. so.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
No, not really, Chief. I would just say that I love the strategic goals and the layout. It's organized, it's efficient. I couldn't have asked for anything better. It's easy to follow. I love the autism training
Yeah.
prospect. That is high on my list. Having a child in the school system, thinking of multiple families that would be impacted by this positively, and just training the community like that is amazing. Well done. I like the idea.
Yeah, and when we, for looking at the launching, please invite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
If they want to get a larger space where we're paying for them to come, I want to make sure we're filling it.
We can do that. Yeah, that's awesome. We'll do.
I just want to thank the chief for making these meetings just go very smoothly and all the information that we're getting. And thank you to everybody too. I think this group works really well together. I think we respect each other's opinions, but yet we still have our own. So I want to just keep staying the course. And Jackie, I'm thinking, let's get through March with the hiring of the captain. In April, we'll do the discussion on the communication. It's still on my list of like an
Okay.
action plan. Okay, Chuck.
Thanks and kudos to Detective Sergeant Williams for his outstanding work on the car theft.
Yeah, that's great.
I just want to thank you and your staff for the great job you did during this blizzard. Thank you for keeping the communication with us going on and what was going on and what was happening. That was pretty neat. And just keep up the good work.
Yes, I'm all set. Thank you.
I just have one more thing. Also another thanks to Jen about the school golf cart design, the license.
That's cool.
That was really nice.
Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
I know nobody's opposed.